Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guys, Window One, Mr. Mike Zappi, out in San Antonio, Texas.
What's going
Dallas,
on?
big fan. And he's got a game to look forward to, and he's going to give us a lot of his opinions on where the Cowboys are going to go and what they're going to do this coming weekend. Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx, Window 2, and I am Richie. And we are going to start with some more coaching news, boys. A lot going on. Bill Belichick, since we last spoke to you, is out in New England. His replacement, one of his former players, Jared Mayo. I like the hire. I was a little surprised that they didn't go through more of an interview process, but I do like the hire. Zappy, I'm getting this of a repeat either on you or Idris's side, just giving you a heads up.
It's not me.
Not me.
Might be me. Might have to grab those headphones.
Yeah, because he's not echoing.
Might be me.
Yeah. Well, Zap, I guess you take the floor then.
No, all right. So, talking about Jared Mayo, if there's one thing that I think this hire comes from, it's from a very good recommendation from Bill Belichick, for one. They didn't hire Jared Mayo just to hire him. There's a reason why they hired him, because we talk about they could have gone after Vrabel, which he fit very well into that system. They could have gone for the splash and tried to get Jim Harbaugh down there. There's other coaches that they could have gone, but this tells me they already knew Jared Mayo was their guy a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to him. I just think they should have went to a more offensive-minded head coach. I mean, you pulling this guy. He's been, on the defensive side. And, New England has a lot of work, man. They need a quarterback. I mean, they got a lot of work, man. And I think they should have waited a little bit longer. Like I said, go for some. I would have went for Vrabel myself.
Yeah, I agree. And, the things that I look at is, if we look at the last, 24 years since Bill Belichick took over that franchise or whatever it is, if there's one thing this franchise has been known for, it's winning, but winning on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that's one reason why they went with Jared Mayo, was to keep that theme, because not only was it instilled to him as a player, but as a coach now too, what they need to do is get themselves a very good offensive-minded offensive coordinator, not a guy like Matt Patricia. They need to go out there and do something and, see what they can come up with, because quite frankly, the way I look at it is Jared Mayo is going to be a great coach for them, especially, like we said, the defensive mind. But if you can go out there and get an OC that can come in, hey, there's a few guys out there I can think of, but that's what yeah, there's one of them.
Zappy, I want to ask you this as well as you, Idris. Belichick, his next move. There are a couple of enticing situations, potentially the Chargers, potentially the Raiders, and in the NFC you have the Commanders and the Falcons.
And this team.
What?
Because if we lose this weekend or next weekend,
okay.
I don't think I don't think Bill Belichick is gonna make any movement in the next few weeks. I think he's gonna wait till the playoffs play out. The way it stands right now, I think the perfect fit for him is over on the West Coast in LA with the Chargers. They've already got an established team. They've got a quarterback that, in my opinion, just needs the right tutelage to be able to take the next step. And if you bring in a guy like Bill Belichick, I think that helps out drastically. And not to mention, they already have a good defense. They just need the right leader, and we're talking about Belichick. He'd be the right person for the job. So that's a place I think. And number 2 would be the Titans for me.
I think with the Chargers, they got a cap problem coming up, man. As for Dallas, I'm the biggest Dallas hater. However, I'm going to defend Mike McCarthy on this one. I think if he coaches a good game, but the team just fumbles it, you got to give him another year. Because if he goes out there, coaches a game, let's just say they drive down to the 5-yard line and interception or fumble or whatever on a good play, you can't put it on him. I mean, I understand, he's on a short rope, but I can't put that on the coach.
And honestly, not to go away from subject on Bill, I don't necessarily think Mike's job is safe anyways, because I don't think Jerry's going to risk losing Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I don't.
So
he sent out the bat signal the other day when he basically said, "We're going to see how it goes." Like,
yeah, but no, going back. But as far as Bill, with the Titans, I think there's a foundation there already. You look at a team that was coached by Mike Vrabel, a guy that was brought up by Bill Belichick, so they would already understand Bill a lot there. You talk about the DeAndre Hopkins ties with him. You talk about he's going into a situation where he's got a young quarterback in a Will Levis, a guy that actually fits his style of system, if you really break it down. So that's why I put the Titans as the second team to watch out for to go after a Bill Belichick.
I can go for that.
I like what you're saying. I think it's a good point. But what I find weird, and we've talked about this in the past, Happy, the Tennessee Titans for so long squander so many wonderful years from Derrick Henry because they never got a freaking quarterback. I mean, is Levis the guy? That remains to be seen. I actually think that Belichick might be intrigued with Atlanta, even though he wouldn't be the GM there, with the ability to run the ball already. A defense that, in my opinion, is actually not that bad. They do have a decent amount of receiving weapons, but when you look at the quarterback position on that roster, I don't believe anybody there currently is the guy, so to speak. They're going to have to find out who the guy is.
And they got a good draft pick, so and there's so many quarterbacks. There's so many quarterbacks. I mean, take a pick.
And then to piggyback off the whole coaching situation, the one guy I'm watching out for is Vrabel with the Commanders. I know the Commanders are down to 2 people. They have not released what 2 names, but when I look at Mike Vrabel and I look at what that offense and that defense presents, that's a perfect team for him right there. Yep. You got 2 running backs that can run the ball. You go get yourself a quarterback, obviously, and there's a good foundation there for Mike Vrabel. I think that would be a great move for him because I just don't think it's going to be the enemy.
Yeah,
I just don't think the enemy's going to stay there. I think I personally, like Richie says, the Falcons, I agree, but I think Bieniemy fits the Falcons so much better. If they can get Bieniemy out there and go out and try to get a Kirk Cousins or you draft your quarterback, Bieniemy can really rock that system because he got a lot of young talent on that team. A lot of young talent.
That would be funny to see Cousins go back to his old team. A lot of people forget that's where he played. Seems like another lifetime ago, especially because Washington has gone through so many name changes the past few years. And, they were pretty bad these last few years, historically on the offensive line as well. That's going to be a point of emphasis for that organization. Zappy, you did mention this to me off air a couple of days ago. Jim Harbaugh, J.J. McCarthy. Where does it make sense if there's a reunion on the pro level? I know what you told me, but this was your cooking, so I want you to speak on it.
I mean, the most sense is, first of all, you look at a guy like J.J. McCarthy. He's not number 1, 2, or 3 in this quarterback class. Maybe not 4, but he's definitely 5. And so you think about the teams that are drafting in the middle, a team that needs a head coach, a team that has their coach in place, but we're talking about an owner that moved his team to Las Vegas. And if you're the Las Vegas Raiders and you can go out there and get a guy like Jim Harbaugh into that franchise, not only are you set up, he is now set up to go get his quarterback that he just won the national title with. And when you think about Jim Harbaugh, back to his days when he was with the 49ers, a guy that by the name of Colin Kaepernick comes to mind. J.J. McCarthy, while he's not calling, he does know how to run the ball as a quarterback, more like a Josh Allen, So when I look at the Raiders, yes, they should definitely keep Antonio Pierce, but I'm sorry, AP, in my opinion, is going to end up with you guys as your new DC. And the Las Vegas Raiders, I think they're going to go all out for a guy like Jim Harbaugh because that city needs that splash. That franchise needs it. You don't move your team to Las Vegas and suck.
Yeah.
You just don't do that. You know, this is not Oakland anymore. So
look at what
guy
happened
like that
in
makes
the
it so
NHL.
mad.
Look at the NHL team, relatively new. Look what they've accomplished in a short while.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And to your point,
I agree.
You did say how that makes sense. And I love AP. I think under different circumstances, he gets retained. I myself am hoping for that outcome because my number 2 choice for DC for the Giants would be a Leslie Frazier because of the familiarity with Dable going back to Buffalo. But I do believe that that would be the home run getting Antonio Pierce. Now, you did mention – sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
You did mention the Josh Allen similarity in terms of the running metric of JJ's game. Brian Dable, JJ McCarthy. Could that be a potential marriage?
Absolutely, it can. Absolutely, because really, when you look at the Giants, you're sitting there with the number 6 pick in the draft. Obviously, everyone has been saying it. You've got to fix your offensive line. You need to fix your offensive line. And while I don't think a guy like Joe Alt is going to be there for you guys, if he is, you snatch him. You get that card in. You get that card in fast.
Yeah.
But then you're sitting there in the second round with pick number 36, I think, or 37.
Yeah, 36.
You're in a good position to be able to trade up. Where if you see JJ McCarthy fall and he gets into the 20s, not only you're trading up into the latter part of the first round, you're also going to guarantee yourself to have that 5th-year option on the quarterback. So, you see what you have left here with DJ this last year. You have your quarterback of the future, a guy that is very similar to Josh Allen, who, by the way, Brian Dable, this guy, JJ McCarthy, just screams Brian Dable, in my opinion. He really does. And, I said it to you guys off air that I think JJ McCarthy's got a couple of Super Bowls within him. I think he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback in the next league. That's just the way I view him. But yeah, I definitely think the Giants need to be paying close attention to what happens in the latter part of the first round. And if a guy like that, or even a Michael Penix, if he starts falling, it's one of those, do you trade up or do you not?
I'm not, I like Michael Penix Jr., but I don't want to take a risk on him. I mean,
the knees
and the shoulders, 2 ACL surgeries, 2 shoulder surgeries, all 4 ended his seasons. And in Dable's system, the quarterback runs the ball. You're in the NFC East. You got Dallas, that defense.
Be
damn, I'm gonna put
the Commanders are going to get better in the near.
I'll be damn. I'm going to put Michael Penix Jr. in front of freaking Micah Parsons.
Like, even when I think about the fan base that wants Jaden Daniels, I feel that Jaden Daniels needs to put on some more weight personally.
He's just small in the
body.
Yeah,
for sure. And, Zap made a good point, circling it back to the Cowboys, about them wanting to not lose Dan Quinn. In the event that Quinn did go somewhere, I think Seattle would be a good marriage. But when I think about the Dallas Cowboys' identity and how far they've come on the defensive side of the ball, that might be the next coach in waiting. I don't know necessarily what the rope is if McCarthy gets to the title game, if McCarthy gets to the Super Bowl. Zappy off air told me straight up, being a Cowboy fan and being entrenched in what goes on there, he feels that even if they won the damn Super Bowl, he's not safe. Then again, they did get rid of Jimmy Johnson, so it's not that far-fetched.
Yeah, but he regret that.
He definitely regret that. But we're talking about this would be his Jimmy Johnson, because if I look at Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy, who means more to the team? It's without question Dan Quinn. If you look at that defense, what they've done without the likes of a Trayvon Diggs, and they have still performed at a high level. Just imagine if he has all his toys, and that defense is still growing together. So that's why I look at like where Dan Quinn would be our Jimmy Johnson. Are you really willing to sacrifice letting Dan Quinn go, which we saw he had his first run with Atlanta, and he did make the Super Bowl. We don't want to talk about 28-3. But, when I think of a Dan Quinn going somewhere else, it's like a team like Seattle they're on the verge.
Yeah,
they're right there. They just need to go find their quarterback of the future. I would hate to see him leave. And what I've learned also from Dak is Dak has been under the tutelage of a couple of different quarterback coaches, a few different OCs, and a few different head coaches, and each time he's gotten progressively better. So I think with Dak, he is where he is now. It'd be easier to replace an offensive-minded or an offensive coordinator as opposed to replacing Dan Quinn and how that defense plays for him.
I agree.
It's a reasonable take, Zappy. I think it's more likely that outcome comes. I'm just going to put it on the table. In my opinion, you guys at minimum should make the NFC title game. At minimum, that's my opinion.
That's what I said.
You view the Cowboys season as a success versus a failure. I would say that this particular year, this is the year that you guys have to get past the second round. And if you're losing the title game, I wouldn't view it as a failure in my eyes.
No, I wouldn't.
No, definitely not, because that's been what's been eluding the Cowboys for the last 27 years is being able to get to the title.
Would make it a little tougher because of the fact that the Niners in recent time have kind of flipped the script on you guys, because in the 90s you had their number. I mean, even in the game that they beat you, that was a Michael Irvin performance for the ages against the best cover corner in the business at the time, and Deion Sanders. Then Deion ultimately joined you guys. We know the story, but this coming week, stories galore. It's interesting. Matt LaFleur, the replacement, Mike McCarthy, the former Packer coach who helped guide them to a Super Bowl victory in 45 over the Steelers. A lot of people say in revisionist history possibly could have got a couple more. 2011, they were 15-1. My New York Giants knocked them out. There were other fall shorts that hurt. The Seattle NFC title game. Ask any Packer fan. That one stings undeniably. But, if Mike could somehow win with his second organization, he joins a very elite situation there. Not a lot of guys could say that.
Yeah, I agree.
As LaFleur goes, really turned the season around, because early on in the year, I wholeheartely believed that one of them was going to go, either LaFleur or Love. It looks like they really mended the coach-player relationship. And right now, while I don't think Green Bay should win this game, I believe that they're going to compete, and it's going to be fun. But the God's honest truth is, where Dallas may have a weakness, I would say you can run the ball against these guys. But I'm not convinced that the Green Bay Packers have the personnel to do that effectively. And ultimately, I believe that's what the difference in the ball game is going to be. I don't see a scenario where you could get away with not putting two men consistently on Micah Parsons when you consider everywhere that he could be coming from. And even if Parsons doesn't have that blow-up game, I believe that from a defensive standpoint, just dealing with him on every level of defense, stunts, blitzes, dropping in coverage, every little thing that he brings to the table, it's going to open it up for someone else. And I do have a feeling that with the scoop and score ratio for what the Cowboys have had this year, Jordan Love is going to have a tough introduction to the playoffs, ending a very good first-year campaign, not a rookie campaign because he sat. I got the Cowboys winning this thing 34-20. I think the Packers could potentially be tied with these guys at halftime. I could see a second-half shutout, but I do believe that I'm not going to lie, I want the Packers to win, my late father's team. I'm sure he'd be proud of what they have accomplished this year, but they're not there yet. This is a good step in the right direction, because just that kid getting to the playoffs, something that Aaron Rodgers didn't do when he replaced Brett Favre, is quite an accomplishment, because all of us could speak on this from the early going of preview shows. None of us had the Packers going to the playoffs and the Jets missing. None of us.
Nope. Had it just the opposite. I think with me, I had the same score, 34-20. I think Dallas is going to jump on them early.
And they're undefeated at home, man. They're different.
They're going to jump on Green Bay early. And I think if Green Bay can keep it close to the end, They got a chance because the palms will get sweaty, but I think Dallas is going to jump on them right out the gate and put it like they did Washington. Green Bay might come down to score. Dallas probably score. Or so I say Dallas will score, Green Bay will score, and then after that, I think Dallas just going to jump on top of them. And it'll be catch up the rest of the whole way.
I believe the only way for the Green Bay Packers to pull off the upset is that Dak Prescott will literally have to have a stinker. And I don't see that happening this particular week.
Green Bay's defense is not.
No, not what they were in previous years. Huge injury to Jair Alexander. He rolled his ankle. Who the hell's going to cover number 88?
Who's going to cover him anyway? I don't think Zaire. I don't think Zaire can't nobody cover CD Lamb.
No,
not right now. Not right now. Zappy, our resident Cowboy fan, your thoughts?
I mean, I couldn't stress it enough leading up to the playoffs that it was imperative that the Cowboys get the number 2 seed because of playing at home. You know, we're talking about the Cowboys team that averages almost 38 points at home, as opposed to on the road where they average just over 23. And they only allow, I think it's like 15 or 16 points to opponents at home, whereas on the road they allow 20. You mentioned Jair Alexander. I didn't think he was going to be able to cover CD anyways because of the fact where CD, you can line him up in the slot, you can line him up in the outside. The guy's got some of the shiftiest feet in the NFL. I mean, he's hard to guard. He's proven that this year. When I look at what the Packers present, look, they have done a fantastic job. And I told John, you know, he messaged me a good old rivalry, and I was like, at this point, I think this Packers team you guys should be happy because you're a year ahead of schedule, in my opinion. Jordan Love has definitely pulled off great. I mean, he's second in the league in touchdown passes behind Dak Prescott. So, yeah, that cannot go unnoticed. Now, going to the game, I think the one thing that I'm going to watch out for is how is Green Bay going to come out? And I think they're actually going to come out throwing the ball, where a lot of people are thinking they're going to come out running the ball with AJ and Aaron Jones. But I think they're going to come out throwing. And last year we saw what Christian Watson did against Dallas's defense. I mean, the guy went off for 3 touchdowns, and that was his coming out game. Yes, it was Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, but Jordan Love has shown that he can get the ball deep. Jerron Bland has shown recently that he can get beat. He still likes to take chances, which I love. But we look at a couple of receivers over the last few weeks. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was kind of having his way with him. Stephon Diggs was having his way with him. You know, there was other guys. So ultimately, I think it's going to be a close game early, but Dallas will take off in the second quarter. I think it'll be a Green Bay, in my opinion, I think is going to receive the ball, and I think they're going to march right down the field and score. And then they're going to have all the playoff jitters. There's more pressure on Dallas than there is on Green Bay. But ultimately, I think Dallas will win the game 38-23.
Yeah,
I
think they're going to jump on them.
We're all in the relative ballpark. And, you know, this season, in my opinion, bigger expectations following the Cowboys. I think you have to revisit the last couple of times that they were a 1 seed to truly say that the expectations are similar to this. You know, when I think about what they went through this year, lackluster performances against the Bills and Dolphins, the tougher schedule down the stretch, they still managed to eke it out over Philadelphia. There's a lot of character here, you know, and part of winning this stuff is having the right character guys in the locker room. And I do believe that in a lot of metrics, young leaders have become seasoned vets in the leadership department. And some guys, number 4, for instance, I think it has an opportunity to kind of rewrite his script as to who he really is. And like anything else, the ultimate antidote for flipping a script on who you are is by winning. So it's going to be should be a good day for the Cowboys. And I'm going to just say this in advance. Congrats to the Green Bay Packers on a damn good season. And they're going to be sticking around for a while. I'm sure that they wanted this team to beat the 49ers last week because Green Bay would have drawn the Lions. Sunday game 2, we've got the Los Angeles Rams at 10-7, visiting the Detroit Lions at 12-5. We know the storyline here above all else. 2 quarterbacks traded for one another. The Los Angeles Rams essentially saying to Jared Goff, hey, we like you, but you're just not good enough. Yeah. Matthew Stafford, he got us a Super Bowl right after we traded you. He was good enough. Jared Goff, huge part of Detroit becoming a factor again. I mean, guys, the last time that I remember the Lions being taken serious like this, you got to take it way back to when we got to see Emmett Smith and Barry Sanders grace the same field in the playoffs. I mean, you got to go way back.
Way back. When
the Washington Redskins defeated Wayne Font's Detroit Lions. That was the Mike Utley season. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Herman Moore.
Come on,
Mitchell.
Herman Moore, Scott Mitchell. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Robert Boucher.
Wow, good shout out. I forgot that Boucher was on that squad.
Yeah, man. They had who was that linebacker? Oh man, he was a great linebacker.
Chris
Spielman, yes, thank you. Gosh,
he retired early to tend to his wife who had health.
Yeah.
He was a football player. Wow. But that's how long it's been, guys. You know, the Rams, in between the time of Detroit getting back to relevance, won a Super Bowl in St. Louis, almost had a dynasty. The Patriots ripped that out of them. Couldn't see it coming. And then, you know, of course, going back to L.A., the beautiful stadium that they have. And, you know, it's the weirdest thing because when you think about how many years they spent in Los Angeles versus how few years they spent in St. Louis, and that St. Louis was their first Super Bowl, they kind of went the metallic road, you know, with the helmets, a bit of a different look. Coming back, more retro looking. I mean, fellas, you're talking about Deacon Jones. This is an organization that has been around forever.
Yeah.
Leonard Little, who Idris educated me on, I was shocked, had the most defensive fumble recoveries, which was breaking Deacon Jones's record. I did not know that off the top of my head. When Idris hit me with that, I was like, wow. But great matchup because I feel that both teams share the same weakness. Their secondaries are very leaky, but you have very deep receiving corps. The difference in this game, at least in my opinion, I believe that the Rams have the best running back available in this game, and I think the Rams have the better quarterback. I would love to see Jared Goff prove me wrong, and I would love to see the Detroit Lions win, but I don't think they are. Rams 36, Lions 30, overtime. Make it hurt.
I'm going to go with Detroit. The one thing I don't like is how they're going to ban people from coming into the stadium wearing a Matthew Stafford Detroit Lions jersey. I think that's pretty
really
cool. Yeah, they said
really?
They said they're not letting anyone wear a Matthew Stafford Detroit Lions jersey into the stadium.
Dude, if I suffered that long wearing that jersey, they're gonna tell me
what I would do. I would wear the jersey under a regular jersey, and when I got in there,
that's
gave 12 great years to that organization. It's not his fault that they didn't surround them with talent. They gave him Harry
and Megatron got so sick of that organization, and they had them bent over. Those guys couldn't leave. They were not going to guys seeking. They did both of them dirty when you really think about it.
There's people that wear the number 9 jersey all the time to Detroit games today, the last couple of seasons, because they were happy to see him finally win the Super Bowl. And now you're going to do that because he's coming to town? Come on. I don't like that. I don't like that either. No, the fans are still going to honor him.
Yeah, they go.
Not happy about that.
They probably. I heard this a few days ago. They might have rescinded it, but I mean, this was like 2-3 days ago. I heard. I was like, man, that's crazy.
No, because you got to think that before the game starts, they're going to give a little moment for Matthew Stafford, but as soon as that kickoff happens, it's all booze from that point on. You know,
it's not like he asked to get. It's not like he asked out.
No,
they it's like, let's make the deal.
He literally got traded, and man, there was some beatings that guy took over the years. Fellas, just out of sheer curiosity, do you personally know a Lions fan?
Yes,
I know one.
I do.
My closest friend is a Lions fan. Only one I know.
My favorite cousin, AJ, out in Michigan.
Yeah.
Originally from New Jersey, New York roots, grew up in Michigan, Detroit Lions fan, and I gotta say, I'm thinking of him this week because he has waited forever.
Yeah. I got a homie. I got a homie here, my DJ buddy, actually, Herman Bright. Call him DJ Best Believe. He's a Lions fan. And when he told me he's a Lions fan, when I met, I said, how did you become a Lions fan? You grew up here in the Carolina. He said, man, I just became a Lions fan. He's a Lions fan and a Washington Huskies fan.
Barry Sanders had a profound influence
on
a lot of football fans in that era.
But he's the only Lions fan I know on this earth.
You're talking long suffering.
Oh no! See, I got two. I'll send shout outs to my boy Scott Young over out in Michigan. He's a big Lions fan. He and I are hoping for the rematch, and I'll send a shout out to my boy Brandon Wright. He's a huge Lions fan. He's out of Pennsylvania. The dude has been standing with the Lions. Both of them have been standing by the Lions for years and years. We all want the rematch. I haven't given mine. I'm going to say it right now. Matthew Stafford is not coming to Detroit to lose.
No, sir. That's
you talked about the Lions having the Rams having the better quarterback, 100%. Then you talk about the running back, Rams. Duo of receivers, Puka and Cooper.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jamison Williams is cool. Let me ask you a question. Is Laporta injured?
Yep.
Yes, he's hurt.
Yeah,
I don't think they've announced whether he's going to be playing or not because they don't play till Sunday.
That's a massive loss if that kid can't go because he's been
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going Matthew Stafford in the Rams also. I'm going to cut a little slow. I'm going to maybe like 28-24.
So we got to unanimous.
I have the Rams. I have a lower scoring game. I have 27-24. I think the crowd is going to play a lot into it, but I think the Rams defense, led by Aaron Donald, a guy that knows how to win in these kind of situations, is going to have a big game. While the Lions have a great O-line.
They play hard, but outside of Anzalone and Hutch, I don't see a lot of talent on that defense. That's
Brian Branch.
Emphasis. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Branch and Jack Campbell, yeah.
Well, yeah, Campbell's a good ball player. He actually picked me off the other night in Madden, still came back and won. But the point is, they've got to get better on that side of the ball. Offensively, for the most part, I like what I see. Ryan Gosling's been doing his thing this year. I think they're going to be all right long term. Wembanyama from 3. Okay, we see that every night. We know that guy is literally, as they say, a human cheat code. Okay.
Oh, I like it. I like what we're setting up here. Let's see where we go with this last game of the NFC because there's my boy Jay. Hey, you know who's not going to win? Jay, you know who's not going to win Monday night? I'm sorry, buddy. I'm loving the implosion.
Yeah, recall this. So, Philadelphia Eagles at 11-6. Tampa Bay Bucks 9-8. Read it. The toughest game to pick, in my opinion, because in my eyes, they both backed into the playoffs. After starting 9-0 and after canning Big Dom, the Eagles have gone 2-6 down the stretch, and last week were outplayed at will in a pathetic loss to the New York Football Giants. The Eagles looked uninterested and unmotivated, and I'm going to say what I believe. Nick Sirianni will be on the hot seat if they don't get the victory here in the state of Florida. This is a team that was in the Super Bowl just last year. This is a collapse of mass proportions. We've all alluded to it in different ways on this show. Zappy said they remind him of the Steelers of a few years ago. They remind me of the Vikings of last year. I know Idris shared that sentiment. The point is that we all have in common about an evaluation of this kind of season they've had is that they remind us of somebody that was a lot better than that looked a lot better than they were. That's not good. And Big Dom, look at the stats, dude. They were undefeated until he got mixed up with Dre Greenlaw.
You know what? They didn't look uninspired. They was getting their ass kicked. Then that's when they said, you know what? Dallas is beating Washington. Let's just quit.
Yeah, Zach, you're right. I tried to leave a couple of times. I got to look into that echo. But yeah, you're right.
They just got beat. They're weak. When they lost their OC last year, when they lost to DC last year. They lost 7 players as well. They didn't want to get receivers. They want to have all its run.
And fellas, this A.J. Brown crap. He was singing Hurts praises less than a calendar year ago. Oh, no offense to my boy Tannehill, but this is the best quarterback I've ever played with, and I love the liberation of playing in this offense. One short year later, you were that disgusted. And I got news for you guys. When you come out like the way they did against the Giants and show no balls, that coach has lost that locker room. And I think we are once again, speaking our sentiments that look like they might be coming true. Nick Sirianni has been a beneficiary of having so many great coaches on his staff.
Let me ask you two a question.
What
is the most disloyal franchise when it comes to quarterbacks and coaches?
Oh, come on, bro. You already know that.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
The city of brotherly love.
The only athlete that they have ever circled around always is Balboa.
Reggie.
That's it. And he's not even real.
Balboa.
He's not even real. He's a 5'7" Italian that don't even exist.
Don't tell Brett that.
Look. Look, I'm gonna say this about the Eagles. This was an implosion that I was expecting a long time ago, even dating back to week 1 after the game against the Patriots.
They were just getting by.
They were just getting by. I mean, when you're playing a game against the Dolphins and you get 0 penalties called against 13 or 17 against the Dolphins, come on. Valdez Scalding dropping that ball. It was right in the bucket.
Yeah.
The Justin Jefferson fumble.
I mean, Dak stepping out of bounds, Blaine Schoonmaker not being able to get the ball over. There's so many things that just had to go right.
What about the Josh Allen no call?
Yeah.
And having the fortune of
Buffalo got a penalty on that play too.
Their communication on what should have been a walk-off touchdown in OT.
Yeah.
If the Giants play Tyrod the whole game, they win game 1. And what about the 2 shootouts with the Commanders?
They were barely getting by.
Dude, if you count all that up, and even if they win a couple of those and it still goes the way it is, this is a 9-8 team, guys.
At best.
Look,
and while we
still have
a lot of work to do to catch the Dallas Cowboys, I will say this. I do believe the New York Giants will be closing the gap, and I think they already have in some metrics, on the Philadelphia Eagles next year. Jay Hernandez, a bunch of Eagle haters here. You are 100% right, sir. But we are not seeing one thing that is not true. You guys are choking on the big banana right now.
The truth is the
truth.
But
I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Look, this team did not win a single game by 20.
Better when, Jay? Were they better last week?
We outplayed Philly in 2 games.
Better against our second quarterback, our third quarterback. Better when, Jay? Better last year 3 times. I'll give you that. Not better this year.
Not better this year.
Hey, at least we beat the Cardinals.
Look, this team.
We didn't even lose at home against the Cardinals.
This team. Look, I don't think the Eagles are done. I'm gonna say it. I don't think the Eagles are done because you look at who they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather have wanted to see the Saints in there because the last 3 weeks of the season they were really clicking.
Do you guys play this weekend? No, actually, I was going to meet some of the guys. We were going to clean up those 3 extra Lombardis we have. Jay, with all due respect, sir, 1960 to 2017, that was a lot of failure in between. Do not let one decade of dominance blind your vision that you guys are the poorest in the Lombardi category in the greatest division in the NFL.
Continue. I'm 59. My mother was in high school the last time they won.
Continue, Mr. Zappi. They beat Vince Lombardi and Bill Belichick, greatest coaches of all time. There was a lot that happened in between. let me show.
I'll start.
Go ahead.
And all right, so I'll start with in the preseason with my playoff predictions. I had the 49ers playing Seattle in NFC West showdown in the divisional round, and I had Dallas against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is getting the benefit of the doubt of playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that could only put up how many points last week against the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, that's what I mean about both backing in, because the Tampa Bay, that's not impressive by any metric.
No.
I'm sure you agree the New Orleans Saints are playing much better down the stretch.
Yeah, I think Philly's going to be able to go into Tampa. This is not going to be a pretty game by any means. By any means. Even with how bad Philly's secondary is playing, do I trust Baker Mayfield to be able to go out there and pick that secondary apart? No, I don't, because he should have done it against the Saints the second time, and instead he got shut down. But I will say this. I think Philadelphia will go into Tampa Bay, and I think they will come out victorious, a very low-scoring type game, more like a 20-17 type game. It won't be pretty, but I just think that you look at a guy like Jason Kelce, is he really going to allow his team to go out there unprepared?
Right.
I can't see him doing that.
Well, he's a great emotional leader. He has all my respect. But this
absolutely.
Worrisome, guys. The AJ Brown behavior lately, that's worrisome. Yeah. And they lost some
this is going to be an off season of turmoil for the Philadelphia Eagles. Whatever happens this weekend is not going to be indicative of what's going to happen this off season. Right. I think Sirianni is gone. Losing Steichen and losing Jonathan Gannon during the offseason last year is going to hurt them. This whole AJ Brown drama, my buddy Matt said it best. We're going to be watching videos of AJ Brown doing sit-ups in his driveway with his agent saying next question. You know, this is who AJ Brown is. He's our new TO. He is going to find his way.
Belichick is coming?
Nah. Not the Philly.
Belichick is a very sophisticated, classy guy who would never go to Philadelphia.
He ain't going to Philadelphia.
What he said.
He ain't going to Philly. I'm going Philly 23-20. I think Philly will come up. I think they'll come to play. AJ Brown. I mean, come on, dude, man. This is the same guy who complained that he didn't get so many catches, even though they won the game.
And Idris, when he threw that helmet during the Dallas game, when Dallas was putting it down on them, the way that thing bounced, almost hit.
Mm-hmm.
Almost hit Aaron.
And do we know what the status, Jay, if you can answer this, or I'll look, but do we know what the status is for Devontae Smith? Is he playing? Is he hurt? I haven't.
Yeah, I'm not.
I heard he was playing, but
I will
play
too.
Good Baker undeniably needs to arrive in order for Tampa to win this game. But reason I'm picking Tampa and the reason why I think they're going to pull this off, I like the fact that they can stretch out that defense. Because personally, player for player, Tampa still has some holdovers from their Super Bowl season.
Yeah, of course.
And the thing is, they won the Super Bowl. Because I know in Philadelphia, sometimes they try to, they're like, oh, we went to the, they're celebrating silver medals over there. But the thing is, Tampa actually won their Super Bowl. And they also beat Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. So anyway, what I'm getting at.
That was the last time the Eagles had some sort of relevancy ever. We're talking about, you like that Chase fans or whatever Sirianni said, that guy's got the most punchable face in the NFL.
It was one of those rare times when Cowboys and Giants go like this.
Yeah. I think he's going after this year.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be gone.
It's not even about me being.
Nah.
He's supposed to play. Okay, Jay's saying he's supposed to play.
Yeah, so he said. Yeah,
I'll tell you though, man.
Full practice.
They got to show me something this week, and I'm going to take this a step further. I do believe that this could potentially be Jason Kelce's last playoffs.
It is. He signed a 1-year deal for a reason. Howie Roseman
to replace.
It is.
I would love to see him possibly go to KC to play with his brother.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool. Nothing but respect for that guy. Rival.
He might do it.
That guy is a pro's pro and a true class act.
And they need help in the offensive line in KC anyway. So
absolutely,
who knows?
Any team that man joins, if his heart's in it, is an upgrade.
Yeah,
Jay's with us. He feels he's retiring. I think we all agree on that.
He is. Yeah, Howie Roseman convinced them to come back for one more run. You got the Eagles lost a close Super Bowl. What was it, 38-35? A game that they had right there. I mean, it was in their hands, the same way it was for the Falcons. They couldn't finish it. Absolutely, you want to get all the guys back and say, let's run it back one more time and let's finish it off. But Brandon Graham, he's going to be gone. Kelce, he's gone. Slayer, Bradbury, one of them or both are gone. Jalen, did they mess up and do another Carson Wentz? Time will tell. Like there's this is going to be a much different Eagles team.
I must admit, when things aren't right around Jalen, particularly the better part of the last 8 to 9 weeks, he's looked very pedestrian and very average.
He really has.
Shout out to my cuz. Told him, hey.
Speaking of your cuz, just something that I recall.
If you're watching the show,
just something that I'm recalling.
Yeah.
He did work with Harbaugh in the past.
Mm-hmm. That was his wide receiver coach.
Just saying.
Dang, so you're really convincing Devontae Adams to not want to get traded to the Jets. I see what's going on here.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Moorhead. Try to get yourself that Vegas job with Jim Harbaugh. I think that'd be a very thing to watch.
Call your former coach, man.
Hell yeah.
Take it back to the Stanford days.
It works out for us too, because your father's former team, the Giants, we get AP. Everybody's happy.
Hey, the Ben Franklin Bridge is crumbling. Get out of Philly.
I do want to ask you this, buddy, Jay, since you're hanging with us. Wink Martindale, do you think he potentially goes to your team next season to stick it to the G-men?
Ooh.
Because by rescinding the $3 million and saving that, he's free to go where he wants. I was just curious what you thought. I also thought the Commanders might be a good look for him, considering that he was comfortable in Maryland in the past with the Ravens. I don't know. Just a thought. I mean, it's a mixed bag. We know what he brings from the aggression. It would be an interesting hire. It would definitely add another flavor and another spice to it already.
And you just got to take the turn back. Philly, so don't even have to move.
Hit us back what you think on that. I think he's coming in now.
What do you say about Dan Quinn?
The mask is in the building. Dan Quinn is favored in Seattle. I think he's coming. I'm assuming that Jay's referring to Wink at that point. Yes. Okay. Thanks for tuning in.
I think about it. You give Wink Martindale. If Jordan Davis can make that comeback as well as Jalen Carter together, which they should be able to build, I mean, Wink's just going to salivate at that thought right there. Then you have Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick. You have a good foundation to be able to get things going for a guy like Wink Martindale, where you don't need to blitz just with those 4 guys alone.
Now, this is an interesting caveat here. In the event that they do move on from Sirianni, which I believe is very possible, Wink Martindale was getting head coaching interest around the league. I also think that from the undermining level, Dable only being in year 2, that was part of the issue. But at any rate, maybe Philly would look at this from a different lens and consider making Wink their head coach, maybe? Or do you think it's specifically that he's going to be their DC if he goes there, assuming?
I think he'll be the DC.
Yeah, I tend to.
I think it depends on who is the head coach. Let's put it that way. Because I said a guy. A guy that I think would fit very well in Washington. Now thinking about it, I think a guy like Mike Vrabel would fit very nice in Philly as well.
Vrabel, to me, I could see him with either squad in the East. If Dan
Washington,
it's gonna
make sense.
There's going to be a lot of movement.
And to tell Jay, I don't think Bill will go to Philly because, like I said, Bill is not that type of guy.
Nah.
He didn't even want to go to the Jets. He wanted to look at the places he's been. He coached at Cleveland. He coached in New England. He doesn't like places like Philly and the Chargers. I just don't think that's his type of thing. I don't think he'll go to Atlanta.
Jet coach? How many hours?
So what?
How many hours was he the jet coach?
About maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Long enough to be able to say he's not a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, 45 minutes. He gave a speech and they were like, "I'm out."
So we're all in agreement here. Well, he's got Philly winning, and Idris, which way are you going on this?
I got Philly.
I'm the guy that's got Tampa.
I want to go Tampa, but I just think Philly's going to step it up.
All right, we're going to move it along to start bench cut.
I want them to lose, though.
Who can beat the Niners? Start bench cut. Cowboys, Rams, Buccaneers, and I'm just going to say, or other.
Um, um, I'm going to cut the Buccaneers 15 times I mean, I know what you did here. Like Buccaneers.
All right. So
you're
you know what? Let's expand this. Okay, we're gonna
gonna go with the Lions.
If he's cutting them 15, I'm cutting them 16, David.
All right.
Yeah, come on.
Cool thing about having extra time. Okay.
It's just
I'm cutting the Eagles too. 17 times.
All right, let's go back. Hold on.
no. I think the whole point that we're making is
We got time. Hold on. Okay, what about these guys?
all right, I think we could put the 85 Bears on there.
Yeah.
With that defense, maybe we could put the 2000 Ravens with that defense.
Yeah.
No, the obvious answer. I'm cutting the Lions. I'm cutting the Packers. I'm cutting the Buccaneers. I'm cutting everyone except for two teams. It's the Cowboys and the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bench Dallas for one big reason. We're talking about Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. There's the familiarity.
Yeah.
The familiarity aspect. We saw what happened week 18. I don't really count that one because the Niners sat all their players. It didn't matter. They had the number 1 seed locked up from back in week 17.
Well, I actually spent some time with him the other night, and, he's still talking smack about that victory. I'm like, dude,
who Carson Wentz?
play their starters.
Who Carson Wentz?
Yeah,
Carson Wentz.
Did he go back home? He's still down there.
Oh, he's still out here.
Okay.
But
4 up.
no, I think the familiarity aspect is the big one. Yes, common knowledge to say I'm going to start the Cowboys. So yeah, of course I'm going to start the Cowboys. Look, it's hard to beat a team twice in a season,
and 3 times as.
No, I'm talking about Dallas, right? But the Niners have beat the Rams and the Cowboys each one time, so we'll go with that aspect. When I look at the Niner game back in week 5, obviously that was still when we were still trying to find our identity as far as, are we a passing team? Are we a running team? We had just lost Trayvon Diggs the week before, 2 weeks before for the season. There was a lot of adjusting going on. I think the Cowboys present the biggest challenge because this Cowboys team, while at home is great, on the road, they're so unpredictable, but when they're clicking, they're clicking. Yeah, that's the honest answer. But I think I'm going to start Dallas because of the fact that Dak Prescott has had himself an MVP kind of year, especially over the last 10 weeks. He has been playing incredible football.
The Niners have a better record on the road.
Yeah, Niners at home are not. They're more susceptible at home than they are on the road.
Even if you don't want to ignore what happened in that week, last week, they did lose to the Bengals at home.
They got throttled by Baltimore.
They got 3 L's at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man.
No, I have to for argument's sake.
If I'm a Cowboy fan, I want the Rams to win. I don't want to play the
No, of course. I mean, I think the Rams are the better challenge, but I have to defend my Cowboys. I have to give the reasons why. Another big reason, CeeDee Lamb, he has been unstoppable, especially the last 10 weeks as well. Ever since CeeDee and Dak really found each other, they've been unstoppable. And then you talk about the defenses, we're talking about the number 5 defense in Dallas, where the Niners, I think, are number 8 in the NFL. Brock Purdy, that's what it comes down to, is what kind of game does Brock Purdy have?
Jay, it's 3. They got beat by the Rams last week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to count that, I don't know.
They have 3 home losses. That the correct answer is they have 3 home losses.
To Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Before Flacco got there.
No, Cleveland and Minnesota.
That's right. I forgot about Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, one of his final win of the year. I forgot.
So yeah, that's mine. I'm cutting every NFC quarterback that's not named Stafford or Dak. So I'm cutting every NFC team with the exception of the Cowboys and the Rams. I'm going to bench the Rams because when I'm comparing the two, Dallas has a better roster, better defense, better coaches, better everything.
That's hard. I'm cutting everybody. Same thing. I'm cutting everybody except for the Rams and the Cowboys. I'm benching Dallas, not because I'm a hater. I'm benching Dallas for this reason. The 49ers are up here when it comes to Dallas. They're up here.
1,000,000%.
Up here. Just like you said, McVay and Shanahan, that's the matchup. I think CD, I don't care who Dallas plays, CD's going to get his shit off. CD's going to be CD. I mean, it's just like putting Emmitt Smith on the field. Stop everybody else because you're not going to stop him. You ain't going to stop CD. CD is always open. He's always open.
To my point about them being a phenomenal road team, they beat teams in the key zones.
Yeah, he's always open.
They
smacked him with
Jacksonville. We got like 3 conversations going on. Continue.
I know. I'm looking at the comments too.
I'm just having fun. Jay's a good sport. I'm just
that's why I keep pausing because I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to talk and look at the comments. I don't. Yeah, I would go Rams because the Rams are like. I think it's more like they don't have nothing to lose.
The thing I like
Dallas
about
has a lot of pressure. I'm not saying Dallas can't beat them because I think Dallas can beat them.
I might be in the minority that believes that the Rams are going to be very tough to run the football on in these playoffs. I actually believe that they have the ability not to bottle up, but to limit Christian McCaffrey. And, with all due respect to Brock Purdy, a couple of warts did come out at certain junctures of the season.
He can't play from behind.
And from a talent standpoint in the receiving room, the Rams are right there with the Niners. They're right there.
That's the advantage I say what Dallas would have.
It's that leaky secondary that worries me with the Rams. The same thing that worries me this week in that Lion game. Both
just like with every team. If Dallas jumps out on you in the beginning, you're not going to beat them after that.
That'll be the key for the NFC title game. It's going to be they won't kick the ball off. They're going to ensure, hopefully, they receive it. Because of the simple fact that, yes, that is the formula to beat Dallas. In order to beat them, you cannot let them score first because then that opens Dan Quinn up. That's what that team is.
Even like in today's NFL, not too many people would consider a 9 or a 10-point lead a big, substantial lead. But to your point, when you can really pin them back at that juncture and Dan Quinn can get to work, it does change the trajectory.
Let's be on top of you. It's a wrap.
By the way, you guys are tied because as far as I'm concerned, you both made phenomenal points. So this start bench cut doesn't count.
We need to bring Brett on here so we can get a winner.
He's going to start Derek Carr and
have
the Raiders of Oakland.
Thanks. And
Manning as the best safety. I mean, DB.
And don't get him started with Eli Apple. He's going to let you know.
No, you got Derek Carr, Eli Apple, and Devontae Parker. Come on now.
Oh man.
Oh, that's awesome. No, but I think one thing we could see. Well, actually, you don't, Richie, but I mentioned NFC West, NFC East rematch, or that's the way I want it. I want Dallas, Philly. I want San Francisco and the Rams. I want an NFC West, NFC East divisional round. That way we have ourselves an NFC East versus NFC West championship game.
I just wish they'd have had Dallas. I mean, not Dallas. Yeah, Dallas and Green Bay on Monday night instead of Philly and.
No way. They did that for
I know it's not me, but I wish they'd have had.
Eli Apple.
That is the national, the profile game.
Fox is not going to lose that. Fox is not going to lose now. They want to put. No, I love it because I want the whole country. If Philly loses, I want the whole country to watch that game on primetime TV to see the implosion, to see the Buccaneers walk it off 20-17. That'd be amazing to watch Sirianni. They watch Sirianni get knocked out by AJ Brown. Come on now.
Or the Bucks winning, losing by 10 with about 60 seconds left, and they reel off 10 quick points.
11 because they'll go for 2.
Poor Philly.
I'm ready. The playoffs are here. NFC Super Wild Card Weekend. We hope you all enjoyed the show. And
Buccaneers going to win. Sirianni gets fired. Buccaneers for the win.
Did it, baby. I am with it.
Sticking with the Eagles.
Sirianni's gone. We can punch him in his face, too.
What the mask said, when Philly loses, everyone wins. For Idris, for Zappy, thank you for watching. I am Richie. Make it a point, like and subscribe to the channel. Richie Extreme Sports Podcast on YouTube. Announcements to come for our next show. We are out.
All right, Coco.